Welcome back to Between the Baobabs, where life slows down a little. So grab a glass of something cool and refreshing and hang out with us as we dive into the 18th episode of our podcast on the, Anna, do you care to say?
Zambezi Fig.
Yes. So, well,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, let's just do our regular catch up. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. We had a bit of like a oopsie daisy of miscommunication this side in South Luangwa, which resulted in
Right.
a lot of people being heartbroken and then recovering very quickly.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so
Um,
glad that you're bringing this up because and
oh
I'm
my
also glad that we're
goodness.
recording now and not this morning because otherwise this would be a
Mm-hmm.
very different episode introduction.
Yes, yes. So yesterday there was a oopsie where a whole lot of people thought that our most famous leopard in South Luangwa had been taken by a crocodile. And it was like it had hit news so hard. So many people. I had people messaging me about this leopard. People I didn't even know had my number that were like, is it true? Is it true? And I'm like, yeah. Uh,
I remember I
soz
saw it
rude.
and I just said, because I was sitting with my dad and Yoshka and Cheryl, and I just said out loud, "Oh my God, Lucy's been taken by a crocodile." And my dad goes,
Mm-hmm.
"No, I'm sure it's just false news. I think I saw the same
Mm-hmm.
thing posted by somebody else, and it's just more. I think that was AI,
Yeah.
like the typical." And I
Yeah.
was like, "No, no, it's genuine because so many people posted about
Yes.
this." I thought, well, that's it. It's confirmed. She's gone. And then
She's
this
gone. And
morning,
I was like, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, anyway.
And I found out because
So
Dad
I
sent me a post, and then I messaged you, Anna,
mm,
and you confirmed it.
so yesterday I also saw it on Chloe's page on her stories. And I
Yeah,
messaged her and I was like, "Are you sure?" And she goes, "Yes, yes, yes, I'm sure." And I was like, "Well, maybe it could be another leopard." And she goes, "Well, let's hope that that's the case. Fingers crossed, it's a different leopard." And then I remember
yeah.
I'd like waited and asked our one of our guides who they had said he was actually at the scene, like he had seen it, and I'd at the scene as if it's a murder crime. Um, but he was there. He saw the sighting, and
Right.
I said to him, "Is this actually true? Did this actually happen?" And he goes, "Yeah, I saw the notch in the ear." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well then that confirms it because Lucy's missing like half her ear." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well then it has to be her." So I don't know if you noticed, but I only posted much later than everyone. I only posted it late last night, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, she's probably gone. She is probably gone. It's probably her. Let me stop being in my delusions." Um, which, by the way, if you need confirmation that ignorance is bliss, I was purely ignorant yesterday to the idea that she was dead. Even in front of guests and in front of the other guides, I was like, "Guys, it could be another leopard. Let's just be
Yeah.
optimistic about it. Let's just be, Lucy's out there. She's going to come around from some other bush and she's just going to show up tomorrow." This morning, Wild Dog, a bunch of guys had confirmed that they'd seen her in her territory right across from Flat Dogs. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, there we go. It
I'm
was a
so
different
relieved
leopard.
about it because when I messaged you yesterday and you said yeah, and the sad thing is because I asked if she'd left any cubs and you said well she'd been
Yeah.
seen mating and was also presumed pregnant. That just broke my heart. I was just
Mm-hmm.
thinking no, she had babies and she was taken.
Yeah.
So I was just very relieved to hear that she's still with us. But can I just say,
Doing well.
super funny, when
Mm-hmm.
I reposted the Between the Baobabs post about Lucy, I had like some messages were like, wait, you own a leopard? I was like, no, 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 no. This is just a regular
Oh
leopard
my
that
goodness.
is in the bush. It's a wild leopard in the bush
Mm-hmm.
of Luangwa National Park. And because
Mm-hmm.
they roam familiar territories and they're,
Mm-hmm.
you can tell what leopards they are. They're named very often, but it must have been such a like bizarre thing to read when you don't understand, like when you're not familiar with like Luangwa and how safaris and bush life works. Anyways,
Like,
but should
also,
we
like,
jump into?
people
Yes, sorry.
here, like, we get asked, have you seen any sightings of Lucy? Like, guests come off
Yeah.
of the plane being like, have you seen any recent sightings of Lucy? And I'm like, how do you know who Lucy is?
It's
Where
the
does this
first thing
information come
people
from?
say. I mean, even my friend
Yeah.
Jacinta, I think you met her at the wedding. Like she responded, she was like, "No, Lucy's dead." Like everybody knows who Lucy is.
She's so famous, but it's because um she's very used to vehicles. She even uses vehicles to like go hunting and stuff. Like she hides behind game drive cars because she
Yeah.
doesn't see them as a threat. And she teaches that behavior to her cubs. And now I'm praying that the cubs that she's presumably pregnant with is going to be, at least one of them is going to be a female and is going to grow up, because she's only had boys so far, and boys don't raise cubs. So her
No.
behavior will stop with her if this is the case. Like if she dies with not having any female cubs, then none of her cubs will pass on these traits to her, to the next generation. Whereas right
Yeah.
now, the two boys are seen hunting the same way that she used to. They behave similarly. They're not scared of vehicles. They're not scared of people. So we're hoping that this, at least I'm hoping that the next batch, the next litter have at least one female in them.
Yeah. And then you just get that
Yeah.
really exciting leopard sighting where the leopard and the cubs are like around your vehicle. I mean, I think nothing beats that, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm
No.
with you in the same hope.
Anyways, I think that's
Yes.
enough about the valley.
Should we jump into a less exciting topic?
No. How are you doing, Ceska?
I'm good. My chest is currently peeling because I got so sunburned this past week. But I'm doing good. So as many of you probably already know, I'm on a road trip. So on my birthday, the 27th of June, we left Frankfurt. Like at 7 a.m, we hit the road pretty early with Dad and Cheryl. And we drove straight to Lake Maggiore. But on the way down, we stopped in the Swiss Alps and we had to swim in like this beautiful man-made lake. Clear water. It was really cold, but really worth it. There were even the cows with bells around their necks. I felt like I was in a scene from Heidi. It was beautiful. And yeah, then we started off in Lake Maggiore. We were there for 2 nights. Then we continued down to Cinque Terre, which is a coastal area like on the cliff. So there's lots of climbing, but beautiful waters. One of the B&Bs that we booked was really on a cliff. Like you had to hike quite a while to get to the house, it was a cottage. It was beautiful, but I just felt terrible because we didn't actually think it would be that bad. But for Dad and his knees, like he really struggled. So I went up with Dad like the first with him, and we took it really slow. It was worth it when we got to the top, but we just thought, you know what, for the second night it will be too much. So Dad and Cheryl got a room for the second night, without them having to hike up this hill. And then we continued down to Poggio, which from the other episode that we talked about, where my family's from. Saw some cousins, reunited with a lot of them. Then nice. Like that was kind of our break. Three nights I think we stayed here. Then back into the car, continued our trip down to the Amalfi Coast, and visited Pompeii. I can really recommend. Insane.
That sounds so cool.
Ruins and just we could do a whole episode about Pompeii, but that's not what our podcast is about. But point is, Joshka's still going on about it.
Do an episode.
we could do.
I
I'm
think
sure
once you're
Yoshka
done
would
traveling,
love to come on and talk about
yeah,
Pompeii and his new obsession. So, yeah, and we've
we
just been
could do an
eating really
episode
good food.
about traveling Europe
Just traveling Italy.
with you and Yoshka. Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm back in Poggio with more cousins who are arriving slowly. So it's really nice to see everybody again. And then also just needing
Nice.
to, yeah, also needing to do some like uni work for this IPGCE and then also lesson planning for the new school year. But I'm also still very much in holiday mode.
Wow.
So I'm just trying not to think
Very
about work.
nice.
But how are you doing?
Yeah.
It's not so hot on that side of the world.
No, yeah, ugh, me and winter. I don't know what to tell you. Winter here is like a one-night stand. Honestly, comes in, makes you happy, and then leaves. I am, and then ghosts
So funny
you.
how
Not
much
just
you
leaves,
love winter.
ghosts you. I love it. I love waking up and it being cold and you can snuggle into your blankets. And then, unfortunately, because my job is up at before the sun, but still, I love it so much. And then it just disappears like that. No thought to how you feel. No, no.
So
No
what in the
message.
day
Hey,
you're
how
saying
you doing?
the heat just comes back with no warning?
Basically, that's what I'm saying. Because it's already starting to get warm. Like, it's
Yeah.
already starting to get, like, leaves are starting to fall from the trees. And it's reminding me that October is just around the corner. And I'm just here sitting
God.
thinking,
The hottest month in
Where-
the valley. Or is it November?
yes, it's October. But, I mean, November's a close second.
Good luck, my friend.
You know,
I send you wishes and prayers.
send me a fan. I don't need your wishes and your prayers. I need your fan.
That's kind of funny because we literally bought one this morning. Speaking of fans.
I will post a photo of it, but it is so sad. You should see the fan I have in me. I haven't
Is it
fixed it
suffering?
because it broke. It broke just before winter. So I've been like, you know what? I don't need to mention this to anyone. Like, I can wait. This can wait. And there's bigger problems in the camp than Annalise's fan during winter.
We have bigger fish to fry.
But it's being held together by tape at the moment. And you know what?
Okay, we have to see
In
this.
October, this fan is going to be my life. Like, and it's unusable at the moment because when I switch it on, the wind doesn't even flow forward. So you have to put the fan like on top of you so that the wind blows towards you. So I'm just like, you know what? But the thing, like I said, it broke during winter, so I wasn't fazed by this. I could sleep so comfortably without it. Now I'm like, now I'm starting to feel the heat again, and I'm like,
You know what you should
buddy,
do?
this fan is gonna become important.
Just get a wet towel and like lie on your bed and put a wet towel on you, and then have have the fan lie in whatever direction your fan blows wind, and that will help to cool you down loads. Or just get a new fan, like that also works. But the towel trick really helps.
I think a new fan and the towel trick is what I will be doing in October. But I also went to the bush camps today, which was really good. And I did a walking safari with Calvin 2 weeks ago. So life's been good.
How was that?
Been really good.
You've been
The
busy.
walking safari. I've been so busy.
The
I've
walking
had no
safari.
rest. The walking safari was really, really interesting. Like, guides can tell whether an elephant is a male or female by looking at where they pee and poo. So basically, if where the pee lands, so when an elephant poops and then it pees, where the pee lands, if it lands where the poop is, it is a female. because they are directly in line. Like the holes, the organ holes are directly in line with each other. But the poop and the pee spot for a male are two different spots. Like they're close, but they're not on top of each other. Because the holes, the organ holes, are in two different places. They are not in line anymore. So yes, for those of you who would like to know how to differentiate male and female elephant from that alone, there you go. There's your information.
You're basically
That's how you do
professional
it.
guide now.
Exactly. Just missing a certificate. But yeah, it was very, very interesting. For our listeners, let me just break down. A walking safari is like basically, if you want really cool sightings, like really cool, like ridiculously cool, go on game drives. Walking safari is much slower. It's a slow pace. It is looking at footprints, poop, and bones. That is a walking safari.
But then it does get exciting when you see scary things.
Yeah. It is true. It is true. There was a point where we actually had an elephant in the bushes and we actually had to go around. So in a walking safari, you don't go towards the animals because the animals will come back. They will also walk towards you, which is not what you want. Whereas in a drive, it's a bit of a different story. So yeah, the walking safari was really interesting. I found it very helpful, very interesting for what I want in life. Yeah, did a lot of interesting talks. There's also let me ask you this. Do you know how to tell the difference between puku feces and impala feces?
Is it because of how they are scattered?
That's a good guess. So impala,
give us the details.
Do this thing where there's two things. So there's the way it's scattered, and the second one is the terrain that it's in. So firstly, impala use a latrine type of behavior where all of the impala in the herd use the same spot to defecate, to urinate. All of it gets done in one area, in one little space. Okay? Where puku, doesn't matter where. You feel like it, you drop. Okay? That's a puku. Secondly, impala are happy to do their business in the bush. Not necessarily in thicket, but like puku are purely savanna animal. Like they like the open plains, whereas impala, they don't really mind. So puku, if it's in an open space and it's a singular defecation, that's a puku. If you find it in the bush and it's multiple in one spot, it's an impala. Yeah. And that is what I learned on my poop tour.
A poop tour. That's what a walking safari could also actually be called. Just a poop tour. A poop tour and a tracks tour.
I also had my first opportunity at spotting. Went well. It yeah. We spotted a lot of mongooses. More of the fluffy-tailed.
Very nice.
Realm. Bushy-tailed as well. And we had a lot of spotted janets. And a lot of kalulus. My goodness. We had so many. So a kalulu is a scrub hare. Or a rabbit, basically. But yes, we saw many. So yes, that's the update I have for my doings. I almost blinded Calvin on this excursion, but it was good. It was very good.
Oh. Well, I'm sure that he will make a funny story of it.
He's forgiven me, but yes, I'm sure we'll have a bit of a laugh at it.
Would you like to take us through the taxonomy?
Okay, I shall. Okay, so kingdom is Plantae. Order is Rostales family. Morachia, the mulberry and fig family. The genus is Ficus, and the species is Sycamorus. Yeah. Common names are Zambezi fig and sycamore fig. So just so that we don't get these confused. It used to be known as the Ficus zambezius, but it is recently changed. As these plants get into adulthood, they no longer want to be known as their old family. They like to be new familied. They like new naming, you know. When you turn 18, legally you're allowed to.
They like to keep us on our toes.
I tell you. I mean, once we get to the African open bill and the storks that have been respecied recently, I have a whole conversation about that. But today we are focused on the Zambezius or Ficus zambezius or the Sycamorus. Yeah, boo. So yeah, that's the taxonomy side of it. It is a part of the mulberry and fig family.
And since you went into names, I will just add that many different local names that there are for this tree, depending on where you are. Maybe you already mentioned one. The Mukuyu, the Mukuyu, the Mutowe, the Kachele, or the Chitowe. And apparently these names change between Bemba, Nyanja, Tumbuka, and Kunda speaking areas. But in English, as you say, we simply call it the Zambezi fig.
Yeah. That's my favorite name for it.
Maybe I'll also just describe it for our listeners who have never seen one. Just picture a very large evergreen tree that can reach up to 18 meters tall with a canopy that can spread out as wide as 36 meters, which is wider than a basketball court. It has a thick rounded crown, grey, brown, dark, that flakes off in chunks. And if you ever damage the bark, you can see like a milky sap ooze out. And that's the latex, and it's a trademark of fig trees everywhere, apparently.
You know that it actually fruits several times a year as well? You can eat them. I don't know if you'll enjoy them, but you can.
One of the parts about the Zambezi fig that always amazes people is that many Zambezi figs don't start life in the ground at all. So like a bird or a monkey eats fruit somewhere high up and drops a seed in the fork of another tree, and then that seed sprouts up there and slowly sends roots down the trunk of its host, wrapping it around it like a hand closing around a wrist. And over years, those roots thicken into what look like extra trunks, and they reach the soil and take over, and eventually the host tree dies and rots away, leaving the fig standing on its own, which is why we call it the strangler sometimes. Like some people refer to it as stranglers.
Yeah. Strangler fig.
Yeah. So that's quite interesting.
They are murderers.
Murderers.
Very aggressive creatures. Yeah.
And then for where you
Very
can find
brutal
it.
start to life.
Yes. But it's called, so interesting, it's called the Zambezi fig, and you'll find it growing along riverbanks and on the alluvial terraces of the big river valleys in the eastern and southern parts of Zambia. So like Luangwa, Lower Zambezi, Kabwe. It likes to have its roots near water, and because of those roots running so deep and so wide, the tree also serves a very important purpose by like holding the riverbanks and hillsides together, like stopping the soil erosion and landslides. So it's also, it's not just a mudera, it's also very good for the environment.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
But I like to think about the dark side of nature. But yes, very interesting tree this.
Yes.
I won't spread too much facts because I am responsible for two truths and a lie tonight.
You are.
So I think I will leave you to the fact. I'm letting you tell me what you know so that I can figure out what you don't know.
Sounds great.
For those of you who are listening, I told Ceska just before the episode that I've done absolutely zero prep. So, my two truths and a lie are just coming from my head.
Complete
So
improv.
we'll see.
Well, before I jump into the traditional beliefs and myths and things around the tree, there's one more little detail that I really loved that I found out through the research, and that is that every fig tree has its own particular species of tiny wasp that it depends on, like, entirely. And the female wasp climbs inside the fig to lay her eggs, and in doing so, she pollinates the flowers hidden inside, and neither the tree nor the wasp can complete its life cycle without the other. And that just points to, like, the beauty of partnerships in nature and how everything is so interconnected. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But we can move on to some traditional beliefs around them. So, and this is where it gets very, very interesting, because fig trees they're not just admired for their size in Africa, but they're also respected, and in many places they're also a little feared as well. So in Zambia, in the town of Kabwe, there stands a Mukuyu, like a fig tree, and it's become a national monument. So it grows right in the middle of the central business district. And local tradition holds that long before the town existed, this tree was already a meeting place for the people who lived there. So, like, elders would gather under it, traders sold their goods in the shade for generations and generations. And today it's still treated as far more than just, like, an ordinary tree. It's respected as a landmark for, like, the community's history. And the same tree is even pictured on Zambian banknotes. And this idea that a big old tree is a meeting place and, like, a marker of history, it prevents the tree from being cut down. It shows up again and again across the continent. And you travel over to Kenya and you'll meet the mugumo. I don't know if I'm saying that right, the mugumo, the sacred fig of the Mukuyu people. They believe the spirits of their ancestors live among its roots, and elders would gather beneath it to pray, to settle disputes as well, to ask for rain, things like that. So cutting down a mugumo without the elders' permission was considered a serious offense against the spirits themselves. And if one of these giant trees ever fell on its own, people would take it as a sign, like a message that something big or some big change was coming to the community. And then among the Luya people, also in Kenya, a great old fig is called Mukuyu as well. And it's believed to hold protective power, keeping bad spirits away from a village. And down among the Zulu people, the wild fig, and forgive me for my pronunciation for all of this, the umKhiwane, was treated as sacred for a different reason. Its fruit was seen as a symbol of fertility, actually. And young people would wear its leaves during festival dances under the full moon, celebrating the harvest and their commitment to the community. So even though the details change from valley to valley and from tribe to tribe, like, the pattern is very much the same. A tree this old and this big, and this generous, this shade and fruit earns a kind of respect that goes beyond biology. So people don't just walk past a tree like this. They gather under it, they tell stories under it. And in some places, they still believe their ancestors are listening from somewhere inside of the tree or around the tree.
That you did some intense research. I shouldn't have left you alone for so long. My goodness. My goodness. But these trees are intense.
Now I was like, when you first said that we were going to do the Zambezi fig, I was very Like, okay, what are we going to talk about? But I feel like this is a pattern I'm noticing every time you say, okay, Ceska, we're going to talk about this next time. And I know nothing about it. I'm like, how are we going to talk for at least an hour about this
Yeah.
topic? And then I start to research and I'm like, okay, there's actually a lot that we can get into.
I'm actually trying to find a way of like getting photos of insects because that's a whole other beast on its own. Because
Yeah,
anthropods,
that is true.
oh my word, there's so much to be learned. I could take a lot of photos of like termite mounds because that's a whole thing on its own, and termite
Oh my
houses
word.
on
We
trees.
have to do an episode on that.
Yes. So
Yeah.
stay tuned because we're going into the world of insects. But for right now, trees, birds are just so fascinating. There's so much to them. It's
There's
incredible.
so much.
Yeah.
Agreeing to do this podcast with you is helping me to appreciate it at a much more
Yeah.
detailed
Yeah.
level, which I think is very important.
For me, it's crazy how much studying I do. I even did research on this tree, and I remember taking it to Calvin. I remember it was specifically about the wasps, and I went to him and I was like, "Is this true?" And he goes, "You didn't know that?" And I look at him again, and he's like, "Oh wait, that's level 1 knowledge, and that's walking guide stuff." But yes, it's true. So yes,
That's crazy that there's still so much information.
Yeah.
Like you think you know an animal,
Exactly.
but then you decide to train to be a guide, and there is so much
So much.
that we still don't know.
But it is literally, I saw the quote once, I don't know who said it, but it was, the more you know, the more you realize you know nothing. And I'm really getting to that point because every time I go down a road, I'm like, this road is endless. If I spend more time on this, I
Yeah.
won't have chance to study anything else. Yeah, that's the life I'm living right now. Yeah.
What a privilege, though, like
Yeah.
to study something you're so passionate about and to like work in such an area of passion.
It
But
is.
anyway, sorry, continue.
Okay. So, my two truths and a lie. I think I'm going to go in depth about some stuff that you explained about because I don't have any more like open facts. But
Sounds good.
let's get into it. All right. Number 1. Zambezi figs have like holes underneath their root system that are naturally used as dens by larger predators such as leopards and hyenas. A Zambezi fig can listen to its pollinator. The tree and wasp communicate through chemical signals that help the wasp find the correct fig species. A single fig tree can produce figs on its trunk and large branches, not just at the tips of new growth. It could basically produce fruit almost anywhere. Like, it doesn't need to be, like, you know how a mango tree produces mangoes at the ends of the branches? You would never find it close to the trunk or big branches. It's always at the end. Yeah. The fig tree doesn't do that.
Because I was going to say
It
that the
literally
third
produces
one
figs anywhere.
was the false one, but I feel like that's... Okay, let me just wing this. So the first one, I feel like that's true because I've seen the roots.
So, Zambezi figs have hollowed trunks and like below the roots that are naturally used as dens for large predators such as leopards and hyenas. Now, I want you to listen
Okay.
to the statements very carefully. I want you to listen to them carefully because it's not necessarily that what I'm saying is a lie.
Right.
It is if you listen to the wording. The Zambezi fig have hollowed out trunks and have areas below the root system that are naturally used as dens for large predators such as leopards and hyenas.
Okay, I think I've got it. They don't have hollowed out trunks.
Okay. They don't. There we go.
Awesome. Okay, so the second
Yes,
one
they don't
about
have
the
hollowed out
wasps
trunks.
is true, and then also
Is
the
true?
last one is true.
Yeah. Yes. They can produce fruit anyway.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It is. It is very cool. We actually saw on the walk, we saw a Zambezi fig kind of overtaking another tree, and I will post the photos on our Instagram. But like, it is intense to see it like mid strangle, I guess, because like you can still see the old plant, you can see the new plant, and you know what's gonna happen. So we are just having difficulties because for some reason, Ceska's first world country has terrible Wi-Fi. And those of us in Africa are doing perfectly fine. Thanks to Starlink. Ceska, I think we say goodbye and good night.
I think so. Enjoy your dinner.
You too. Thank you so much for having listened to us.
Yeah. And we will see or hear from all of you next time.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Bye.